Hello. My name is Emma. And this is the part of our program called Constellation of the Month. A lot of people wonder how the constellations got their names. Most constellation names are Latin in origin, dating from the Roman Empire, but their meanings often originated in the distant past of human civilization. Scorpius, for instance, was given its name from the Latin word for scorpion, but ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs from before 3000 BC refer to the star group as Hip, the Scorpion King. Orion, the hunter, bears a Greek name, but had been seen as a hunter or hero figure since the times of ancient Babylon. Of course, many of the constellation names are more modern, Telescopium, the telescope, being a rather obvious newcomer. In fact, by the 19th century, the night sky had become crowded with overlapping and often contradictory constellation boundaries and names as different schools of astronomy prepared their own versions of star maps. To clear up the confusion, names and boundaries were officially assigned to 88 constellations by the International Astronomical Union in 1930, providing complete coverage of the entire sky. Now, let's talk about how the signs of the zodiac relate to astronomy. Though many people start their days by checking their horoscope in a newspaper, the 12 constellations of the zodiac are no more important to astronomers than the other 76 constellations. The significance of the zodiac stems from the fact elliptic, the narrow path on the sky that the sun, moon, and planets appear to follow, runs directly through these star groupings. Since ancient times, the sun, moon, and planets have been known as special astronomical objects. They wander through the background stars of the zodiac, which are fixed with respect to each other. It was reasoned that these zodiacal constellations must be special to make up this path, and the relative positions of the wandering stars within them bore great importance. Now I will turn the meeting over to my partner and close friend, Harry, who will talk about this constellation. Please give him your full attention. Harry, take.
Thank you, Emma. Hello again, TSA members and guests. This is Harry. This month I will be talking about the constellation Virgo, the Maiden. Virgo ranks as the largest constellation of the zodiac and the second largest constellation overall, after Hydra. Yet Virgo's long and rambling group of stars doesn't lend itself to a well-defined pattern. It's very difficult for most people to make out the winged maiden holding a stalk of wheat in her left hand. Fortunately, Virgo's first magnitude star, sparkling blue-white Spica, makes this constellation fairly easy to locate in the night sky. If you live in the northern hemisphere, and are familiar with the Big Dipper asterism, you can star hop to this gem of a star from the handle of the Big Dipper. Follow the arc in the handle of the Big Dipper until you see an orange star. That is Arcturus in the constellation Boötes. Then continue that line to Spica. In mythology, Virgo was associated with the harvest. It represented the harvest goddess. The constellation's brightest star, Spica, was a stalk of wheat, held in her hand. Virgo was associated with the harvests the sun passed across the constellation during late summer or early autumn, when farmers were reaping the crops they had planted months earlier. Virgo is known as a spring constellation because, although you can see some or all of its stars on most nights of the year, the stars put on their best display in the sky during spring. Although blue-white Spica is Virgo's only bright star, it is the 16th brightest star in the night sky. It actually consists of two stars, both of which are much hotter, brighter, and heavier than the Sun. But they are separated by only about 10 millions, so from Spica's distance of 260 light-years, it is impossible to see them as individual stars. Because the stars are big, heavy, and close together, they exert such a strong gravitational tug on each other that each star causes the other to bulge outward. Profile: the system would look like two eggs with the narrow ends pointed at each other. In the next few million years, the heaviest star will near the end of its normal lifetime, so it will puff up to many times its current size. As it swells, some of its gas will begin to dump onto the other star. And as it gets even bigger, its outer layers will engulf its partner, pulling the two stellar cores closer together. No one knows exactly how the scenario will play out after that. The stars may merge to form a single star, or the larger star may explode before that can happen itself to bits and perhaps sending its companion careening through the galaxy like a stellar bullet. The second brightest star in Virgo, Gamma Virginis, is also a binary system. Unlike Spica, its stars are so far apart that binoculars easily reveal them as individuals. They are about 40 light-years from Earth. The stars are both white, which means their surfaces are a little hotter than the surface of the Sun. They're both brighter than the Sun, too. Gamma Virginis has been known by several other names over the centuries. One of the most famous, for the goddess of prophecy. In ancient Babylon, it was called Star of the Hero, and in China, it was the High Minister of State. While Spica is the most prominent object in Virgo, the most interesting may be the Virgo Cluster, a collection of several thousand galaxies centered about 60 million light-years away. The cluster forms the largest structure in our region of the universe. The galaxies are bound to each other by their gravity, so they move through space together. The cluster exerts a strong tug on our own galaxy, the Milky Way of galaxies that it's bound to, the local group. The local group is being pulled toward the Virgo cluster, and eventually may join it. The largest member of the cluster is M87, which spans 1 million light-years and contains 1 trillion stars or more. It's a type of giant elliptical. It looks like a fat, fuzzy football. Its core is inhabited by one of the largest black holes yet discovered, a monster about 6.6 billion times the mass of the Sun. At the other end of the distance scale, Virgo also is home to 2 of them. But the stars are so puny that they are not visible to the unaided eye. One system, Ross 128, is less than 11 light-years away. Only 10 known star systems are closer. The other, which a pair of stars known as Wolf 400, just 4 light-years farther. Both stars are classified as red dwarfs. They are much less massive than the Sun, so they're only about 1/10,000th as bright. If any of these stars took the Sun's place, daytime on Earth would be only a few times brighter than a night would be an ice ball, with no chance for life as we know it. Thank you for your attention. I hope to see you this summer at one of the Grillin' and Gazin' events. Now, back to Vic.